All right, Karen, I'm just so intrigued by this. And one of the reasons why I asked you to talk about this is because, of course, I'm using your book for this preaching series called Don't Invite Them to Church. And this Sunday, I'm going to be preaching about refrigerator rights, having that kind of a relationship with someone where they feel like they have access to your life and to your home, because they trust you enough to do that. And at the end of this series, which is going to be ending in the end of January, I'd like to invite people into a larger conversation about practices or getting something started or getting something going around this idea of connecting in your neighborhood. How would they go about doing that? If you were to give some advice to me as the pastor or to a person in the church who's thinking about doing this, what would you suggest as a way to get started?
Well, we've already mentioned one, and I would reemphasize that, is start asking, if you will, neighborhood or God questions, because they take you in a totally different direction than how are we going to get people to come to church.
Right.
And then, it may sound very simple, but that attentive listening in our blocks, in our homes, in neighborhood places, asking neighbor questions, being intentional about continuing that conversation, getting to know them. That's really the starting place. Learning to live among, practicing neighborliness, loving our neighbors as we're called to do, and not just on a bumper sticker,
right?
A slogan, right? It actually engaging in that way. And I think a question that I would add to the list is continually ask yourself, what's God's dream for my neighborhood? What would this place be like if it really did mirror and embody the shalom and the goodness and the abundance of God's kingdom? And how am I and my neighbors, how are we being invited to make that happen more and more?
Right. So some words of advice for me, a pastor who's thinking about going down this road. What do you think?
Martin, we have some great cohorts for pastors and leaders through Resonate. And I know that those conversations have been really encouraging and life-giving for me and others who participate in them. And the same for your congregation members, joining in with some, we call them learning communities, and that's the intention. None of us have the answers, and none of us really know where this is going or what it's going to look like. But I really believe that this is a new thing that the Spirit is doing. And as we begin to share those stories and discoveries and experiment and learn from one another and practice living among and being with, as we abide in Christ, God's going to continue to open up opportunities and show us the way.
Yeah. Well, Karen, it's been so good to talk with you about this. I'm so much enjoying the preaching of this series. And just want to let you know, we had a kind of an impromptu Bible study get together with your book. Some young parents who are saying, you know what, this stuff really is resonating with us. And we want to have a conversation using your book on what this might look like in our community. And so it's been sparking some really great conversations. I just want to thank you for writing. I'd love to read some more stuff from you. So just encouragement, write some more stuff, Karen. You got a lot to say. And it's been such a blessing. So thanks for being part of the podcast.
My pleasure. And great talking with you, Martin.
How can someone get a hold of you if they're interested in connecting with you, Karen?
Feel free to email me. Happy to receive you that way. wilkonline@shaw.ca.
Okay.
Or my CRC one. You have all that info, Martin.
If you're interested in getting in touch with Karen directly, you can send me an email and or get in touch with me through this podcast, and we'll happy to connect you.